Ukrainians have been deported to Russia. According to Russian officials, 105,000 Ukrainian children without their parents and relatives have been relocated to Russia today. And Anna Sofia will tell the story of her mother, but of course she herself, Anna Sofia Puzanova, is a bronze winner of Invictus Games, and she is here today to tell us about that, about her mother in this parliament and in our home countries can act, how we can act to help captured civilians and especially women and children to be returned to Ukraine. This meeting will be very much in line with the next week debate and resolution on humanitarian aspects on the war against Ukraine, but Francis knows better about that. So, Anna Sofia, now floor is yours.
Thank you, Rosa and Francis, Mr. Chair. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Anna Sofia Puzanova. I'm Ukrainian, and also I'm a daughter of Yulia Payevska, who is paramedic and was captured by Russians more than 1 month ago. I don't have any information about where she might be, and I and my family haven't heard about how she is. Now I'm worried about her health, as she has asthma and other problems. And I know that Ukrainian government include her in the exchanging list, but the request was tainted many times. Probably because she is a famous volunteer, hero of Ukraine, creator of the special division of paramedics Tayra's Angels, and they want to keep her detained. My father stays in Ukraine, and I'm here coming from Invictus Games in Hague. I would like to tell you her story and the story of many civilian women and medics captured by Russians. My mother's nickname is Tayra, which is name of samurai family, symbolizing dignity. As a medic, she was on the front line always, from 2014, the day war started, to the day she was captured on the checkpoint with her driver Sergei, also volunteer, driving in the humanitarian corridor in an ambulance car. Russian terrorists captured my mother and volunteer Sergei near Mariupol. It happened on March 16, on the day when Mariupol's theater, a bomb shelter from thousands of citizens, was bombed by the Russian occupiers' forces. She decided not to give up and continued doing her job during hard times of Russian war against Ukraine. She was injured in rescuing civilians, women, children, and injured people in the time of massive shelling in Mariupol, and thus was captured by Russians there. My mother was awarded a Hero of Ukraine award because she saved more than 500 people. She trained more than 1,000 medics to become paramedics, meaning the people who help to transport injured from the front line into the hospital. My mother is not a military servant. She's a civilian. Thus must be protected by international humanitarian law. Her imprisonment by Russia occupiers forces must be classified as a military crime. It's not about my mother only, but more than 500 women, also civilians, illegally detained. The Russian troops commit war crimes which need to be investigated and those responsible brought to justice. I call international community to condemn those war crimes and contribute to bringing Russia to justice. The war situation remains in the city of Mariupol, destroyed now for 95%. Thousands of civilians remain in blockade without water, without health, electricity, and communications, including in the Azov metallurgical plant, intensively bombed by the Russian troops. The number of civilians who lost their lives due to Russian attacks and blockade is estimated to reach 10,000 people. To fate to dozens of thousands of them who were forcibly deported to Russia remains unknown. The Russian occupiers are mobile crematoria and mass graves to destroy evidence of their crimes. The humanitarian corridor for civilians and wounded Ukrainians settlement is urgently needed. Yes, thank you. In the town of Kiev region, Bucha, Borodanka, Hostomel, and others, the Russian occupiers killed much more than 1,084 people. Many are still not confirmed and identified. I'm sorry, really. My ears are hurt, and so I can't hear what I say.
Vulnerable, the most vulnerable.
The most vulnerable
Vulnerable.
Thank you. Categories of civilian population suffer most. War in Ukraine has led to the displacement for 4 and 3 million children. In the occupied areas, the Russian occupiers kidnap children, force children to go to the school in the towns along the front line, using them as a human shield. I would like to ask this Parliament to address a special resolution to the situation with women, children, civilians, illegally detained by Russia. I call you to support and to talk with your governments to send more humanitarian assistance, call for
establishment.
I can hear you just. Establishment for humanitarian corridors. Please fight here in the Parliament, but also in your countries for freedom and captured civilians, and for a return of all those illegally detained persons to Ukraine. All those years on the front line, my mother did everything possible to save lives of people. Whatever, now I call you to do everything possible and impossible to save her life and lives of all captured women. I believe your voice is important and can change the situation. Do everything that you can do to stop this war. My mother is a brave woman, and I ask you to be brave for her and for all Ukrainian. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!